Morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Morris. I'm a trustee with the Lake Improvement Association. Our fearless leaders, Mark and Tim, couldn't be here this morning, so they asked me to do this. So please bear with me as we try to get through the agenda. First, I'd like to ask you to all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We don't have a flag. Fail number one. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we're going to roll right into this today. Just to start with our board reports, we'll start with Ted Berkey and the Treasurer's report.
As always, my report is very elaborate. Is it up? For those of you that can see that, it's total income for the year is about $13,219. Major expenses this month were computer fees, service fees for the website, which is around $2,500 for the year. Excuse me, $1,500 for the year. Right now, we have a checkbook balance of $55,530.85 and money with the St. Mary's Foundation of $8,246. We have some pending expenses coming for pumps and for work on the treatment train, but we've not been invoiced yet. Any questions?
Thanks, Ted. And next, I'd like to ask Stan Wilker to come up and give us a report on the kids' fishing derby.
Before I start, the reason we didn't have the meeting last October, or last month's meeting, Wes Kemper, one of our best friends of Grand Lake St. Mary's, unfortunately passed away. And Wes was very instrumental. He was always there at the kids' fishing derby. So at this time, in your own way, I just ask you bow your heads for a second. And again, in your own way, just remember Wes. Thank you. Second faux pas, it's Les, not Wes, sorry. I'm sure he's correcting me up in heaven. So, okay, the fishing derby itself, once again, we served 7 more children this year than we did last year. We had 177 special needs children in attendance. I can't even begin to tell you about all the volunteers. Many of you are out there, and it's just it's one of our best days. But I do have a couple special thanks to different businesses and individuals who provided some things. Pantry Pride, Villanova Drive-Thru, and many of you sitting out there who, donate your 50-50 winnings to this. Kara Burt and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources staff being possible without their assistance. And Jeff Vossler from the Joint Township Hospital donated the sunglasses. That was a first this year, and the kids just loved them. So again, all in all, we had great weather, and it was a wonderful time. One more item I have, it's not too far away. We have our annual dance coming up on February 24th. And the only thing I want to mention about that is if any of you, it gets more and more difficult every year coming up with the auction items. And every year, the auction itself, we just do a silent auction. We drop the live auction, but it gets more difficult to find items that we can auction off. So if anybody knows of someone, any item, any item at all that, would be a good auction item. Some things could be like, if you know of someone who has a timeshare or anything like that, Ohio State football, don't need Cleveland Browns tickets. I turned those down last week. So, but in any event, you know what I mean. Anything that may be of value, we'd appreciate. And we're going to try to keep it about 6 or 8 auction items. It does get a little bit time consuming. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. The next thing I want to cover are the elections we have coming up in December, and I'm going to let Tom Ramp tell you a little bit more about those.
Oops, don't trip on the cord. We have elections coming up, as noted. We have to replace all the officers, which includes the president, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, and the sergeant at arms. And we have to replace or reelect 3 trustees. For those that are inclined, the president, the duties, he or she is the executive head of the LIA board and exercises general supervision over the LIA. Will sign with the vice president and or secretary all contracts and formal papers on behalf of the LIA. Will provide at the meetings of the LIA, preside at the meetings of the LIA. This is small print. Unless designated to the vice president. And will appoint ad hoc committees as needed and designate its chairperson. If the president is unavailable to perform the duties of the office or is unable to complete the elected term, the Board of Trustees will designate an acting president from among the remaining Board of Trustees. Okay, so that's the president. He's our chief leader. The vice president will perform the duties of the president should the president be unable to complete his or her term and the responsibilities of such office. Will perform other duties assigned by the president and the Board of Trustees. The secretary will keep the records and minutes of all LIA business meetings. Monthly executive board and membership meeting minutes will be completed 2 weeks prior to the next Board of Trustees or membership meetings. After approval, the minutes of the LIA membership meeting should be sent to the communication committee for posting on the website. Will perform other duties as assigned by the president and Board of Trustees, such as correspondence, assisting in publications, membership, and IT support. The treasurer, a very important position, will receive and disperse the LIA funds under the direction of the Board of Trustees and will deposit all LIA funds in such depository or depositories as the Board of Trustees has approved. We'll also have custody and preserve all records and documents related to the property and finances of the LIA, and will keep proper books of account. The treasurer will sign all checks and other orders for the payment of money on approval by the Board of Trustees. The establishment of all checking and financial accounts will require the signature of the treasurer and a designated board member who is board authorized to provide the second signature. We'll also provide a monthly report of all LIA financial transactions and a statement of the financial condition of the LIA to the Board of Trustees and memberships. We'll ensure that all tax filings and reporting requirements necessary to maintain compliance with 501c4 status are completed annually. The Board of Trustees has an important duty. The Board of Trustees will make an annual review of the records of the treasurer, and a report of said review will be given to the members at the December meeting. A review will also be conducted when the treasurer changes for any reason. And the last officer is the sergeant at arms. Will prepare and restore the meeting place for various meetings and will maintain order within the organization. So that's the duties. They're what one would expect for any organization. The trustees, as noted, has only one assigned duty, which is audit the treasurer, but the trustees also provide direction and guidance to the officers. Okay, as I've mentioned, we got to replace all 5 officers and 3 trustees. We are now open for nominations. If you have anybody you wish to nominate for any of these offices, please let me know or any of the board members. And the nominations will remain open till the end of the November meeting. So are there any questions about this? Do I have any? Yes.
Is there any officers or trustees that are not coming back?
Uh, For sure, the president has indicated he is not going to run again. The vice president, again, is not here today because of health problems and is not going to run again at this time. Those two for sure, and Dave has indicated as Sergeant of Arms he is not going to run. So that position will be open. And there will also possibly be a trustee position open. For sure.
Are the treasurer and secretary running again, or will they be nominated again?
As far as I know, they're running again. So if you have any interest in any of these positions, please let me know, or please contact any board member, or you can contact the person that's in the position now and they can discuss it with you. We need people and we need leaders. So I'm hoping some people will step up. Are there any other questions? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Something else I wanted to talk about that we're accepting nominations for right now is the Guardian of the Lake Award. As you know, we award that every year to someone who has gone above and beyond the call of duty in an effort to help improve Grand Lake St. Mary's. If you have anyone you would like to nominate for the Guardian of the Lake Award, please get that nomination to us today. You can do it after the meeting by talking to any of us up here, and we'll be giving that award out at November's meeting. The next part of the program here, I'd like to introduce Lake Restoration Commission Manager Tom Kanapke, who's going to give us an update on the lake restoration efforts.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning. First of all, Ted, thank you so much for knowing you got money in your checking account. We appreciate those donations, and the LI is very important to us. But the repair work that was done at Prairie Creek and the new pump that's going to be installed at Prairie Creek has been completed or will be completed this week. So I'll get you some invoices, Ted. Once again, thanks to the LIA for that. The main thing that the Lake Restoration Commission has been working on, as I said earlier, is the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan is being printed this week and will be forwarded to the state directors and the governor of Ohio as soon as that plan is printed by Reynolds and Reynolds. Hopefully it'll be done this week. And as soon as that's done, I've talked to Brian. It'll be posted on the LI website. It'll be about 45 pages. It hasn't changed as far as the summary that I shared with you back in June. It hasn't changed as far as the 9 critical points. The biggest addition we put into that plan is all the technical data that we thought we had to provide for the state as far as moving forward, the treatment trains and other process we're going to be doing here at the lake. It's a very comprehensive plan, but it's technical, very technical at this point. The key points are the treatment trains. At this point, Prairie Creek is doing very well. We get the pump added as well as the changes. Kohler Creek is doing well. Steve Jockman and Sean Finke from the Lake Restoration Group, and also as far as ODNR, are monitoring those extremely closely. And they're at the point now they're even monitoring the stream or the water going through there. What's the ideal time for that water to go through? You can rush it through, it's not as effective. And so they're trying to find the exact flow rate going through that treatment train at both locations. And that's critical because they're trying to take as much nutrients out of that water as possible. And we've seen, Tom and I and some of the guys, we've seen the preliminary results, and it's been very effective. Will you get a copy of that? Yes, we're going to wait probably till the end of October, and it'll probably be the ending. We'll do the testing, just depending on the weather. But we've got a very good database, and it'll be very impressive, what you're going to be able to see. The other thing we get questioned about is the dredging, which Tom reports on, and that's also going very, very well. And that'll be a part of that plan as well. But probably the biggest component of the plan we're trying to get approved, or is approved, is the monitoring and testing of that water so we can prove what we're doing with those treatment trains. And the changes that we've made have been ideal ideal situation for us at this point. And especially with Stephen from the campus at this point, testing those weekly, we know now exactly what is going through that treatment train. Last thing we're going to be working on is, you know, as we get this 5-year plan, we're going to need some dollars again. So we're going to have a campaign, or at least share with all the donors. We've had over 350 donors since 2011 that have given money to the Lake Restoration Group. And the LIA is one of those big donors for us. But we're going to mail out a letter to all those donors, updating what we're doing and where we're going to go in 2018 at this point in time. And I also got a report, we still get those calls. At least I got a call this week. There's a guy that's got some magic out there that can take care of the lake for us, okay? He didn't put a price tag on it though, okay? Any questions for me, please? Yes?
Yes, when they put that pier in out there at Coldwater Creek a couple years ago, it's a mile long. Went behind the island.
Okay, yes, I'm with you.
They said they was gonna run a pier out into Coldwater Creek there, direct that dirt, when it rains real hard, out into there instead of going into the lake. So I asked them, oh, we gotta wait 2 years. The boys, your 2 years is up. We still don't have that pier in there. Coldwater Creek runs more trash and pollution in there in one day what you guys can take out all these treatment drains in a year. I mean, everything. Here a while back, all out in the lake, it was covered with crap off the bean fields. Next big rain, it was corn cobs. The one time, a couple years ago, all that crap off the bean field ended up on the boat docks at Eagles. It was that deep on every pier. You had to take them all away because you couldn't put it back in the lake. It never come out of that bay anyway. So you direct that dirty water into your treatment train, you're not going to solve this problem.
Well, and we're working on that as I speak, okay?
When are you going to put that pier in out there?
I can't answer. It's going to take some dollars to do that, and I'll have to be also get a permit to do that, okay? That's an ongoing process, but are we concerned about it? Yes, and it'll be looked at. Tom?
There's sort of a technical reason, and we can't just do it. The people who live upstream on the Coldwater Creek are very concerned that if we totally, in essence, if we block all the water and make it go through that, they're worried that it's going to cause the creek to back up and raise the water level higher. I'm just telling you, this is a concern, and unfortunately, we don't control a lot of the things alone. You have to get, political buy-in. And so that's partly what has to happen behind the scenes. Tom, I guess you didn't want to bring that up, but that's to answer your question.
And that
We can't just do it tomorrow, even if we want it.
we're well aware of that. And for example, Prairie Creek also, we made some changes to this past year, but we'll work on that again. But I can't, or no one I know of can go out there and just manage to take care of that. My concern is also, how's that water that is going through there, how is that being, is it helping going through on that side? We're going to try to test that as well.
Keeping the mud out there.
Well,
You were out there big rain, watch Coldwater Creek run.
we're monitoring that almost weekly now, okay? That's the biggest thing we've changed as far as what we can and cannot do, okay? And that's going to be an issue we'll have to address, okay?
You see all the algae on Coldwater Creek?
Yes. Yes, I have. A lot of people have reported to us, okay? Anyone else? Yes.
Why are we draining the lake 24/7, 365 days a year?
I can't, you're going to have to ask the state people on that.
I need a good answer. That's a huge problem.
I can't answer that question unless, Tom, you got an answer to that?
Gotta have an answer to this problem.
Well,
That's something that, Dave would be able to answer. I'm not involved in the water.
I'm not either.
You're saying they're draining it right now?
Absolutely. 24/7, 365 days a year. Did we all know that? Sounds like we did. No, I know. Does anybody know who's doing that?
Okay.
Hey, I can't, that's a mandate, not a mandate, but that was simply with the dam put in that we have, Lake Restoration has no control of how much water goes out of that lake, unless you guys do.
And as to the all year, again, the state people could talk to it better. The partly, I'm trying to answer people's questions. This has been brought up before. They have to maintain a certain amount of flow in the Coldwater Creek. If they do not,
Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek, downstream, I'm sorry.
I don't think it has anything to do with Coldwater Creek.
Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek, I'm sorry.
This is draining the lake.
I'm sorry.
We don't know where?
Okay, there's two places.
Coming over the stone, and there's nothing coming out.
Uh,
There's no water going down the beaver right now.
There is a little. He has to maintain some
little.
flow.
They do have a crack open somewhere?
Yeah,
Just
they
a-
have
just
a
a-
crack, just a crack to keep it flow so that we do not have a massive fish kill downstream.
Where's that?
Okay, from the dam on down towards the Indiana border, the Beaver Creek runs.
On
Okay,
the west side?
on the
West
west
side.
side.
How about the east side?
Okay, the east side,
Is-
there's water that goes into that canal, a small amount, again, to maintain some flow in there. If not, there will be a massive die-off of fish and vegetation
A die off where?
In the,
in vicinity of the dam and.
St. Mary's.
and the Beaver
St. Mary's.
Neck.
There's not just a little bit flowing into that canal. It's roaring out of the lake. Anybody can go on the east side and look at that gate and it's roaring
Okay.
out of there.
They've opened it more, again, this time of the year, and it's been brought up in years past.
it's-
The idea is to maintain a minimum flow so that, and as Tom said, they crack the valves a little bit to maintain a minimum flow. And the amount that goes out, because the little valves are not open, or the big valves are not open, just a little, is probably in the course of the summer, we might take an inch off the lake.
In a month,
Oh, it's roaring
an inch
out
in a
of
month.
there. There's no little flow.
Well, I haven't been down there to look today.
Everybody ought to go look and see what's going on.
Okay.
It's a big flow.
On the east side's the big flow?
Yes.
Don't we have a certain amount that has to flow out to go to Delmas for the drinking water and stuff?
Well, if they're drinking this crap, they ought to shut it off.
Well, because the lake was so low last year, they still had to let them out because they had mandates both ways.
It's partly tied to that.
There's-
The main thing is you gotta maintain some flow, or we're gonna start, there'll be, and they did several years back, I've been told.
Right.
They shut the valve off, and
Right.
all of a sudden, there was all kinds of dead fish floating just
In
on
the-
the Beaver Creek. And it was because there was not enough flow, and they weren't getting, if you don't have some flow, you don't get oxygen in the water, you get no oxygen in the water, the fish die.
So the creek is killing, they're killing fish in the creek, but we're killing the whole lake too. Because we're killing the lake to save the fish in the creek.
Well, I think you have to look at the combination there, sir.
We don't have the lake people here that they can talk the
Right.
numbers better, but it is the amount that goes out. We lose more water to transfer evaporation on a really hot summer day than you're gonna lose when you look at the total area of the lake. We're gonna lose more water there than you lose in a month of leaving that cracked a bit. I remember that was brought up at previous meetings and the calculations have been run.
It's not cracked a bit.
Okay, I haven't been over there, so if it's open more,
Everybody needs to look at that. That's huge.
On the east side, you're complaining,
try to
the
have
east side
somebody here that can answer that question next month.
can't answer it.
Yeah, I live right at the west bank, and I know that if it's coming over the mouth through the above normal pool, that valve's closed. If it goes below normal pool, it's just a bit loud, so there's no flow in it, then it might crack a little bit too far. That, I see that every day, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I
sorry
can't-
we
I
don't
can't-
have somebody here.
Water in this lake this time of year.
Various, yeah, we don't have the park manager or the area director for the park here today because they both have other commitments that they have to do as part of their jobs.
Is there a way we could get somebody to this meeting that?
Normally there would have been.
The chairs and all that stuff?
Yes, normally we would have had the park manager here, and quite often we have the district manager for the parks. It's here, for the, all the parks in this vicinity. But unfortunately, They both had
Commitments.
commitments that they had to attend to today, so they could not make the meeting.
And they're available to call us.
They are available. Later, I can give you, we can get you the park manager's phone number, and you can call him and inquire what's going on tomorrow.
We can get the answer to that question.
Right.
But Dave's not here today. Does anybody have any questions for Tom with the LRC?
Because we haven't studied the lake level in our group, okay? Anybody else? Yes,
I have one question for you.
yes,
On the new update for the thing,
lake plan.
John, we live in the state in the treatment train, number one treatment train. At the end of 3 channels, there's a blue pipe that sticks out. And I got better use for it than pumping in untreated water into our channel. We got a pipe that's already buried. It really does nothing, okay, except pump in manure and dirt.
Okay,
All right, take it, put it down, dig out the other end, and give it to the fire department for a dry, I don't know what they call it, a dry hydrant.
okay.
That would be better use than this stupid blue thing sticking up with some water out.
I'll look into that. Okay, I looked into that.
It might lower our insurance, hell, I don't know,
I'll look at,
they have them, and they do it.
okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. Anybody else? Sorry I couldn't answer your question about the water, okay?
Well, I'm concerned about this
Well-
problem because it goes way deeper than our lake. It's feeding the canal, which goes clear up to Lake Erie, and as we probably all know, Lake Erie's 10% green like this lake is
Right.
now, and we're the cause of the problem. Yes, we are. We're
Well,
pushing
there's
that
there's-
flood
there's many
down the canal and feeding the Maumee River, and the lake is turning green because what's coming down the canal is feeding that lake.
Well, there's,
That's a fact.
that's a fact. There's also other sources of feeding the Maumee River as well that I've been told from people from Lake Erie. So it's
Not that ours green is what that canal is.
and that could be. I can't argue that with you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Teresa isn't here today.
Right. Normally, Teresa Dirksen would give us an update on Egg Solutions, but she's on maternity leave right now. And as we said before, David Failer, the state park manager, would also normally be here today. I believe he's got a work obligation with the Canal Cleanup Day, and that would be the person that could probably answer your questions better than any of us here. So for now, who we have is Tom Grabo with the dredging department. He'll give you an update.
You're getting an A so far. Doing pretty good, except for the flag deal. Morning, everyone. We've got about 6 weeks left of our dredging season. So right now, to give you the numbers, we're at 404,257, which we're only 1,200 yards off of last year's record pace with 6 weeks remaining. So very, very good year. We will be shutting a dredge down this week, which is a Pump a Little, just finished Prairie Creek. Be shutting him down for the main reason is what we want to do is do stump removal this year. We haven't done it for several years. That is part of our entity as far as dredging. Getting out there to get stumps. I probably got over 100 stumps identified from different people with GPS coordinates and all that. So we will start that the week of the 16th. Okay. If anybody knows the stumps around their area, if they can throw a milk jug out, mark it, call the state park. A lot of you have my cell phone number. Call the parks, whatever, and let them know where that's at. We're starting the week of the 16th, going around and removing them. All right. Very, very important. Brutus and Hodag will continue operating up until the week before Thanksgiving, weather dependent. Okay. We've had years where first week of November we had ice. Okay. We can't operate in that, but we'll run those dredges as long as what we can. But we've had a tremendous year. I commend the guys that have been on the dredges. We've worked pretty significant overtime this year to reach that goal. So very pleased with that. But probably the month of January, I'm not sure if we have a meeting in January, February. I'll let you know where we're going next year, what jobs we're going to be doing. December meeting, I'll let you know what sites we'll be constructing. So there's a lot of good information coming up. And also I'd like to have the operators show up so you can see their faces. I know we've been talking about it for a couple of years. These guys are rock stars here at Grand Lake. I try to base my whole program across the whole state of Ohio off of our program here at Grand Lake St. Mary's. So very, very good. So that's all I got. Quick, any questions? Yes, sir.
How's the acquisition for the dredging? Is it to be done? Where do you stand on that?
Acquisition with,
Property MRAs.
we're working on those properties. We're getting close with the Uppencamp property. Don't want to reveal to just because there's some more steps that we got to go, but looking very, very promising. Very promising. That's 45 acres there that we will utilize if we can purchase that as a long-term storage facility. I won't build one big site. We'll build multiple sites as we, plus our effluent is being returned back to the wetlands, back to the littoral part of it, which cleans that water up as it's coming out. Okay. So. Oh, yeah, yeah. The key to that, though, is getting rid of that material. It's not the money so much, it's getting rid of it. So I put 4 10-acre sites in there, 4 12-acre sites, whatever. By the time I get to my third one, as I'm filling it, I want the first one gone. We'll keep the dike walls. We want the material out of the middle gone bye-bye. No money. I want people to come in and get it. But when you're looking at a site that big, you're probably looking at 175, 200,000 cubic yards. The best part about that site, though, is easy access to 219. It's a good throwaway right there. Okay. So that's promising. We'll actually start constructing 2 sites over at Wright State. Okay. On the backside, be the northwest corner. We'll start that here this winter. So not sure of the jobs yet. I'll have to get with my manager here, Dan Gillis, and we'll have to get that figured out. But we'll let you know. We're always looking for that property, though. Always. Yes, sir. Yep, we got several people coming in. Not to speed of sound. I want it gone as fast as we can get it, but we do have people coming in and grabbing that material. So, yes, sir. The plan for the dredge? That is probably the biggest thing we're going on right now is we're putting in a silt trap. As you talked about, is diverting that water all over to the wetlands on significant rains. As that material comes down Coldwater Creek, super chocolate. Okay, you know that as well as me. Significant amount of influx coming in. We will not be able to divert all that flow to that wetlands. Okay. There's entirely too much flow. Once we get vegetation in there, it'll scour a lot of those nutrients, but it's still open on one side. What we're doing as far as going back and forth, we're putting in a silt trap. Okay. So that material is coming down that does not go into the wetlands. Okay. Is falling in a big hole. There's areas out there 24 feet deep. Okay. Very, very deep. So as that flow comes in, I want it to fall there. That is a silt trap. It becomes maintenance dredging at that point. We know where to get the material. I'd rather it falling in that hole than being distributed throughout the entire lake. Smart business, I think. Yep. And once we get it developed through engineering, this and that, as far as the weir, I kept on hearing pier. It wouldn't be a pier. It would be a weir. So that water stops as it's coming down the main channel and being diverted into the wetlands. High flows, it comes over the top of the weir and flows out in the lake. Okay? That's why we're putting a silt trap in. When that's not going to happen, I'm not 100% sure. It's going to happen. So that'll be a good thing. A lot of it hinges off vegetation coming back into the wetlands too. No sense of diverting all that into there when it's going to run out the side when there's nothing there to stop it at this point. We got to slow that down. The absorbent nutrients and allow the material to fall out. There's nothing there right now to do that. So we got work to do with that. Yes, sir.
I'm new to this whole thing here. So you're dredging the
Mm-hmm.
out of the lake and putting it back into Lake Grand Lake Secondary watershed?
Yep. For the wetlands. Okay. Usually what we do is our DMRAs, it's property that the state owns, or it's property that I lease. Okay. What we do is pump into these sites, the sites that I lease, pump into them. Once that site's full and it's dried out, we reclimate it and put it back into farming conditions. Okay. These wetlands are a little bit different. What we're trying to do is create wetlands. They weren't wetlands before. Nationwide 27s. We want that vegetation to come out because we have found that vegetation scours a lot of the nutrients out of your water. Okay?
So you're from the state?
I'm with the state, yes. Yes.
Get your information.
Sure. Sure. Anyone else?
And we gotta be a little careful of that weir. Since the county put that new bridge in Coldwater Creek, on Coldwater Creek Road where it crosses the creek, it's an undersized bridge, because it's an arch bridge, as the water comes up, it has less room to flow out, which is the same thing the weir will do. And twice, that water went over the levee and washed out people on St. Anthony Road.
Mm-hmm.
The railroad track.
Yeah, that's something. I'm just telling you where we're at. I'm not an engineer. That will be engineered. You know, I don't know if we'd be the ones putting it in or we're going to contract that out, but that will be engineered for a lot of those factors. So we don't put water back up on people. Okay. It's going to be a while. Your water is still being distributed at the same rate and at the same pace, whether it's going over a weir or whether it's being diverted into a wetlands. Your flow's the same. You're not backing it up.
So these engineers gotta get out and talk to the people who live in the area and find out what the hell's going on, other than
Yeah.
sitting behind the desk in Columbus.
Yep. Yep. So that'll be up to them. Anyone else? Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Tom. I just want to give you a couple of reminders here. One is if you have nominations for Guardian of the Lake, please get those to one of the board members here today before you leave. And if you have nominations for the board, please get those to us by the end of November's meeting.
I would like to make an additional comment there. Having looked at all our board meetings for a while, we have nothing but guys. So if there's any lady that's at all interested in being a trustee or one of the officers, let me know. I'm in favor of somewhat diverse views, so I would be interested in any lady that would be interested in. We've got a secretary. But anyways, if anybody is, again, interested, please let us know.
All right, thank you, Tom. One thing I should have mentioned earlier, and I didn't, I apologize. Just want to recognize that the Kemper family made a donation to the Lake Improvement Association in honor of Les. So, you know, of course, we appreciate that. That concludes the program we have. Do we have any questions from the membership? Right. I'm following the order they gave me, but before we do the 50-50, do we have any questions from the membership? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to give Stan applause for the fishing tournament. Everybody there just such a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you. If there's nothing else, can we do the 50-50 drawing? $10. $10. All right.
Drum roll.
298. 298. All right.
Thank you.
Just donating it back. Thank you very much. And that's all we have today. Thank you for coming out and hope you have a nice weekend.